Hi, I'm Nick Mehta, and I'm super excited to have the next episode in Metaphysical Musings. Metaphysical Musings is a internet program that we've released on social that's all about helping to profile great leaders in customer success and other executive functions who are trying to drive net revenue retention for their business and value for their customers. Today with me is Nikki Bishop, former Chief Customer Officer at Seek, and very experienced customer success leader. I'm going to do the bio that we got from you. Nikki is a professional engineer, which I love, who loves the technical realm, but also has an insatiable curiosity and drive to unlock the best in people. That really resonates with me in my heart. And you have a lot of experience in application development, process control at Seek, Siemens, Emerson. I think it's going to be really fun because you come from a different background probably than some of the CS leaders you've met. So as you know, Nikki, we always like to start with a fun kind of personal icebreaker. So you're filming this in the summer. What's one of your favorite summer activities?
Favorite summer activities is one we did last week is Rad Camp. My family is heavily involved with an organization called Rad Camp, which is Rising Above Disability. So super fun opportunity to go spend time with campers, adults, do this.
Oh, that's amazing.
And I love it, right? It's something I get to do with my family and look forward to it every summer.
So there's campers that have disabilities and you're going with them and supporting them?
My sons are both volunteers, so it's
awesome.
one counselor, and they spend the week there, and just phenomenal organization and super fun time too.
I love
Costa
that.
Mesa is not a bad location either.
Oh, nice. Awesome. That sounds fun. Okay, so let's talk about your career journey. So, pretty awesome and kind of different to come from an engineering and process management background to be where you are now. So if you tell us a little bit about how you got into CS.
Yeah, I mean, I always say that I've always been in customer success. It might not have been labeled that, but I think as an engineer, you think through problems, you solve problems, and you provide value. So really, that's been inherently me since the beginning of my career. Even when I was the lowly and super nerdy process control engineer putting control strategies together, you had a customer that had a challenge and you wanted to solve it and deliver value. So I think it's been a natural progression to go from that to customer success. I just didn't really have the cool label for it that many years ago.
I love it. I love that customer success is cool. That's a neat way to describe it. As a former, maybe still nerd, I think it's really great to be able to go from that into, helping customers. And I think that's a good segue because we, of course, had our Pulse conference in May, which was incredible. So much energy. And you were a big part of it. We talked about digital CS being a huge theme. And I think your team has done some amazing things in digital CS and also kind of leveraging Gainsight. I'd love to hear what your team's done.
For sure. I think one of the big takeaways from our session was just start, right? We've talked about digital customer success for a long time. We've talked about digitalization in our businesses, in every function. You just have to start. And the beauty of Gainsight was the templates that were already there. So you could start, right? It wasn't so overwhelming of what do you do and where do you start. And when you think about what you do on the day-to-day basis, there are those things that you do over and over again. And you're thinking in your mind, I'm really good at those. I'm super efficient at those. I just need to get better at X, Y, and Z, these other things. Reality is when you take those things that you think you do over and over again and you're super efficient about, and you start mapping them into a tool like Gainsight, or you start mapping them into a template, you realize you're not quite as efficient as you thought you were. But just being able to capture it into that tool makes you more efficient. So immediately saw results with that. Just from an organizational perspective, put the things that you think you're super efficient for into the tool and then grow from there. So we were able to see value from it almost immediately.
That's amazing. So maybe to click into that a little bit, are there some parts of the journey that you felt like were inefficient that you ended up digitizing?
Everything from reaching out to a customer, right? Templates for emails, right? If you have success managers that are writing a fresh email every single time and maybe including information here or there, we're all busy, right? We're all doing things at once. You cannot scale yourself or scale your time. So something as simple as a template, but also something as simple as, setting a flag for training notifications, or setting a flag for when you're up for renewal, or setting a flag for health scoring. All of that stuff that you think you will remember with every single customer, and it kind of runs in your head like a task list. We're human, right? And we miss things. So just getting that automation down, it also gives you a chance to look at your process and if it really is as efficient as you think it is in your head. And the answer is it's not, right? No. So it's a really good assessment tool.
I love that. And I see it's so true. Like you run something all the time and you just get used to that being the best it can be. Right. And, in our company and all companies, you sort of say, how could we get more efficient? our CSMs are struggling, but I think a lot of it is we're not efficient. We're doing things that don't matter, and we're doing it in a really redundant way.
Right.
It's great. So I think one of the things that's interesting, first of all, you can see Nikki's talk. We have this actually great thing called Pulse Library. If you go to pulselibrary.com, gainsight.com, sorry, you can actually see replays of all the sessions. And I encourage you to search for Nikki's session because it went into a lot of depth on how to make this real. But one of the other things people deal with right now is just the ability to recover from adversity and change. I just look at the last few years, right, Nikki, like from COVID to this great explosion in tech to great, the whatever great resignation to hyperinflation to, I don't know what we call the current state, but maybe a little bit of malaise. People in tech have been through a lot, right? As well as people in the general economy. You wrote this awesome blog on this topic. I'd love for you to share what you learned.
Sure. I mean, yeah, the only thing constant is change, but I think we're all change fatigued at this point. So
Yeah.
like enough is enough, right?
Yeah.
And, I mean, anybody who knows me, like I draw a lot of my energy and passion from nature. And
yeah, I can tell.
And nature has it figured out. Like we as humans struggle with change and we struggle with adversity and we worry about, are we going to make it? Are we not going to make it? If you look at the world around us, the ecosystem has it figured out. There's so much we can learn from that. So if you look at, what makes a resilient ecosystem, it's diverse, right? The population is diverse. It's symbiotic, right? Species figure out a way to function together without killing one another. Adaptive, right? You can adapt on the fly. And then there's complementary niches is the other one, which I really love. Can you find the place where you fit? You're not overlapping someone else, right? And you can find those things that are win-wins. If you start looking at those 4 quadrants of what makes a resilient ecosystem, it's no different on our teams, right? You need diversity of thought, you need diversity in background, you need diversity in industry. You've got to be able to adapt. I mean, my favorite part of that one is the adorable little raccoon, right? But
yeah.
One of the most adaptive creatures in the world. Can we be more like the raccoon and be able to adapt when the changes come at us? So yeah, finding those niches, being able, finding the win-wins, whether it's friendly co-opetition with your competitors or partners or internal employees. I think, looking at those 4 quadrants of resiliency is critically important.
I love that. Such a good metaphor for us to think about. I think the raccoon is very adaptable. I don't know about our Labradoodle at home. It seems like 3 years in, he still barks at everyone that comes by on the front door. But he'll probably adapt over time too. So closing out, we always like to do this lightning round. So I'm going to ask you, say a word, and you're going to say, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
Okay.
Let's start. You ready?
Ready.
Let's start. Speed. What comes to mind?
Agility.
Oh, good job. And you answered it fast, which feels good too. Insights.
Data.
Digital.
Efficiency.
You said it well. I mean, it's a huge benefit. AI.
Game changer.
Yeah, absolutely. So much. And then Pulse.
Unicorns.
Shameless plug for Pulse. So there you go. We have Pulse Europe coming up in November in Amsterdam, which is going to be a lot of fun. Check out Pulse Library online, pulselibrary.gainsight.com. And I'm sure, Nikki, we'll see you at the next Pulse.
Absolutely. Would not miss it.
Oh my God. Amazing. Thank you.
Thanks for having me, Nick. This is great.